already started. Okay.
There we go. Everybody muted? So we're standing on top of the ball. Roll your shoulders up, back and down a couple times. And we're just going to start a really gentle bounce, not a big deal. Just feel a little engagement as you just start to lift. Try not to flop into the ball. And then let's start to focus on the upper body from sort of your hips and your belly button to the top of your head. Try not to let them relay that bounce. So in other words, be a little more controlled from the waist up. Good. And then try to take one bounce and then lift a teeny bit. So a bounce and a slight lift. And a bounce and a slight lift. Teeny little lift. Now, you got to know what ball is when you come back down, right? So don't make it a big lift, just a little one. Just warming up those quads and those glutes a little. And then maybe take the bounce out of it and just make it a little lift and a little lower. If you want to make it a little more aggressive, go to a wider stance so that you make it more of a squat. But we're not standing all the way up yet, because if you stand all the way up, that ball might be there when you get back. And then come down. And then go back to your bounce. And then we're going to add some arms and get a little bit of a warm up for your heart. Because big ball day is very aggressive sometimes. Now, if you want, you could walk your feet in and you could step out 1 foot at a time. Or if you wanted, you could step out both feet at a time and turn it into sort of a jumping jack. And then you can start to get as aggressive as you want. You can leave your legs out and just stay grounded, but lift and lower off that ball. Or you can bring them in and out. Or you can just lift them up and down. You can try and get a little air. It's totally up to you. But just know where that ball is when you come back down. Right? And and relax. Continue that bounce. Hopefully you feel your heart rate warmed up a little bit. And slow it down. And then find that elongated posture. And let's bring those feet in and get your knees so that they're straight in front of your hips. So you shouldn't be at a V and you want to be inverted. So find out what that is, where that is for you, and then sit tall. And then from there, we're just going to tuck under, round the spine, pull the belly button in, round the upper back, feel that stretch through the spine like a cat, and then hands in front, stick your booty out, lift your chest forward, arch into a cow. And let's just round and arch and kind of pick up the pace so you get some fluid movement through that spine. Good, last two. And last one. And now again, you're sitting up nice and tall. And I didn't make you guys do this at the beginning, but what the heck, let's do it. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me, I promise. I will not fall off the ball. All right, so.
I will not fall off the ball.
You're doing this at your own risk, of course. But you're in your own home. I got nothing on you. All right, so let's simply walk those feet forward. So I'm going to turn sideways so that I can kind of be on my mat. So now walk those feet out in front of me. I forgot I had a slippery mat today. All right. Legs go straight, but they're still that same distance apart. And then exhale, slide until your knees are directly over your heels. And now your torso is on an angle, right? Not this, but you're literally hinged back from your hips. So your hips opened up that angle. And you should already feel your abs engaged. Let's bring those arms out into a T or a V and squeeze the shoulder blades in. And squeeze in and squeeze in. 2 more times, squeeze in. Squeeze in. Bring your hands out in front of you. Walk your legs even more. And notice, and then let's do a couple of squeezes. You should notice that that brings a little more stability, right, with those wider feet. And now walk those feet to touch, knees to touch. And then again, here we are. And that should make it a little less stable, a little more challenging. So you decide where you need or want to be. And from there, arms out, ribs drawn in. We're going to rotate towards me, back arm lifts, up and over and up and over. And just keep that going for me. It's not just your abs working here, you should feel your quads. Good. A few more here. Good. And then roll down a little bit farther so that your hips come off the ball. And then all I want you to do is lift the hips up, so a little bit of engagement of those hamstrings and glutes. Fingertips to the edges of your skull, but not pulling on your neck. Let your head just rest. And then squeeze and lift the hips, squeeze and lift the hips. Squeeze and lift, couple more, squeeze, lift, squeeze, lift. One more time, squeeze and leave the hips up. Open your ribs towards the ceiling and then close them. Open and close. Really small movement here. Back of the neck stays long. Head in line with your spine. Elbows nice and wide. Glutes engaged. Hamstrings engaged. Ribs flattening every time you come up. Good. And then stay down, walk even farther out so the ball is under your hip. So now that ball is supporting your hip. And the first thing you'll notice is those hips want to droop. So let's really squeeze those glutes. Arms can come out to a T. And you should just feel some glute action here. So sort of like a bridge. You are welcome to simply stay here. If you walk your ankles and knees to touch and don't let those glutes sag, you should notice more challenge. And then if you want to, you can try just lifting a foot at a time. And if you're successful at that, then lift the whole leg. And if you're successful at that, lift that leg up in the air. And if you're successful at that, lift the leg and draw a circle, maybe both directions. And then keep doing that a few more times. And then I want you to roll back just halfway so that ball is underneath your low back and your heels are back underneath your knees. And again, the edges of your skull. And we're going to do a really small movement. I just want you to think about pulling your ribs towards your wrists. Inhale, open. Ribs to hips. Open and close, and open and close. Make sure that your elbows are staying wide. Your chin isn't jutted forward, but it's not tucked under. It's as if you had a little orange or your knuckles underneath your chin. Two more like this. Last one. More resistance. Bring your arms out into that T. Even more, bring them overhead into a V. And if you want, bring them all the way overhead. Or even interlace your fingers and make that bigger limb more resistance. And then let's roll all the way up on that ball. Sit up on top for me, please. All right. And then we're going to try our little play game, our little balance. So we're going to see if we could lift our feet and hang out on the top of the ball. Now, if you can do that, and you want to add on to that, then what you'll add on is a round under and a scoot back, round under and scoot back. Try to do it without tucking your feet on the ground. New ball, interesting, different for me. And then if you can do that, hey, come here, everyone wants to see you. Then try side to side. And if you can do all of that, then just try a circle. All right. Let's go ahead. We're going to come off the ball. I'm trying to figure out if we want to start with the challenging. I think I thought about it, but I think that what we're going to do is a couple of the regular ones, regular Pilates exercises, just to kind of warm us up a little bit more before we get into the way more challenging. So come on down to a lying down position. And for now, let's just put that ball between your knees. And you may have to hold it down with your hands, but I want you to squeeze it as hard as you can with your inner thighs. So abs are drawn in and you're squeezing that ball. You should feel those inner thighs engaged. Again, you may have to hold it down with your hands, keep your ribs in, and then just squeeze, 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 squeeze. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keep the squeeze off those knees so they're right above your hips. You can flex through the heels if you want. Nod your head, yes. Deep breath in, exhale. Belly button pulls in, and on the inhale, you lower those heels towards the ground, and on the exhale, you lift them up. So toe touch exercise only. Maybe you have those feet flexed to kind of protect that knee a little bit. If you wanted more challenge, you would scoot the ball a little farther up your leg. You may still have a slight bend, longer lever, or you could bring it all the way up to your ankles. And again, lower and lift. You can flex and point, alternating. I like to flex down and point up. And then if you really want to engage, then you squeeze on the way up or on the way down, or both, and get that inner thigh action going. And just bring that ball down and let it rest here on your abs for a moment. Bring your arm and then just curl yourself up towards that ball, around the ball, just a little rounding in the spine. Down again. All right. Ball straight above you. And now we're going to squeeze it with the, so arms are straight, squeeze in, squeeze in, squeeze in. Then your triceps engage as you do this one. Squeeze in and in and in. 2 more times. Squeeze and squeeze. And then bring that ball to your knees. A little rhyme for you. Exhale, lift up. Grab the ball, squeeze it as you bring it over your head. And then come back down. Exhale, deep breath in. Exhale, roll up. Squeeze the ball up over your head. And exhale down. Deep breath in. Exhale, lift. Inhale, reach and squeeze. And exhale down. Deep breath in. Exhale, lift. Inhale, reach and squeeze. And exhale down. Again. Exhale, lift. Inhale, reach and squeeze. And 2 more times. Exhale, lift. Inhale, reach and squeeze. Exhale down. Option this time. Lift up. Bring it over your head. Bounce it. Catch it. Just for the heck of it. Bounce it. Catch it. Bounce it. Catch it. Sorry, baby. Bounce it. Catch it. And come down. That is not like that. All right. Now you're going to lift those legs tabletop. Breath in. On the exhale, roll up. Extend the legs. Reach the arms overhead. And then exhale, tap, ball to the knees. Inhale to reach, and exhale to tap. I'm going to give you a couple options here on our double leg stretch. Reach and stretch, tap, reach and stretch, tap. And now first option, grab the ball with your legs, but don't bring your knees in to do that. You have to lift yourself up farther and then reach. And then again, I'm not going to bring the ball into me. I'm going to leave the ball up there and go get it and stretch and reach. Ball between the legs, go get it. Or sorry, I forgot to stretch. And then go get it and then reach. And then again, to put it in place, you lift yourself higher and reach. Or next option, if you want, I've done these already, knees stay tabletop. You roll the ball up to your ankles if you can. I moved a little bit, try not to move too much. And then come back, stay lifted and reach. And then roll it up your shins and extend. And then roll it up and extend. So it's almost like doing a teaser. Give me 2 more of whatever version you're doing, please. And relax. There she is. Now, all is good in the world. All right. Put that ball at your ankles. Bring your forehead to your knees, and you're going to start rolling like a ball. Try not to kick the ball, right? So rolling and lifting, exhaling to roll, inhaling to sit, exhaling to roll, inhaling to sit. One more time. Exhale, roll, inhale, sit, ball out in front of you. And then sit up as tall as you can. We're going to do spine stretch. So if your legs are normally straight, go ahead and straighten them. Make sure you didn't round into your hips. So push down on the ball to grow tall. You could even pop your ribs open for a moment. And then, exhale, hinge forward, making sure you're not dropping. So every time you think about an inhale, press down into your ball to grow tall. And then extend and reach. And press down to grow tall and reach. Press down to grow tall, extend and reach. Good, good, good. Hang on, so I'll do a couple more like that for me and then hold it so that we don't shred these curtains too. All right, so just sitting in that spine stretch for a moment. Nice and tall. Beautiful. All right, let's come back. Let's bend our knees, feet on the ground. Roll down here, exhale, hinge back. Give me a little tuck and roll back up. And then your atlas holding up the world. You can pop those ribs. Exhale, lower it, hinge back, give me a tuck, lift up, extend. Option, roll back, keep that ball above your head as you come up and as you go down. It'll be a little extra challenge, only if you want to. Give that a try. And finally come back, seated position. Give me a little hinge back, not too far. I don't want you to be rounded. I want you to be extended. Rotation side to side. When you come back to center, look at your knees. Kind of keep them on almost the same plane. Move a little bit apart, but try not to let it be too aggressive. Woo, and come up. Hopefully you felt those. Let's sit up for a second, ball off to your right. Left arm up and over and get a little side stretch. And then come back, bring that ball to the other side, uncross your legs and recross them the other way. Ball to the left, right arm up and over. Woo, okay. All right, let me figure out which way we're going to be going on this one. So I'm going to scoot back a little bit, and if you have any knee issues, you may want to pull your mat back anyway, and if you don't have a smooth surface, try and find a nice smooth surface. And then you're going to come up onto that mat. So this is our bent knee plank to plank position, pike and plank position. So the ball is going to be close to me, and I'm going to crouch so that my elbows are really close to my knees and my elbows are really bent close together. And then I'm going to roll forward. I'm going to lift up so I'm not on my kneecaps. I'm actually rolling onto the fronts of my thighs and roll forward, under, stretch it out, and then exhale to hinge back, right? So you hinge forward, toes go up in the air, glutes underneath, ribs pulled in, arms long, and exhale back. Inhale, reach it out, moving under, and exhale, hinge it back. I'm just going to watch you guys for a second, looking for good form here. Good. So move the whole body. Don't just move the arms. There you go. Nice. Beautiful. Couple here. And then let's hold it out. Bring it back about halfway. Walk your hands a little farther. And then challenge yourself to go out. Booty under, ribs in 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then you get to park the ball underneath your abs and flop. So let your spine naturally curl around that ball. Should feel pretty good. And then bring your hands down for just a second. Walk your feet wider than your mat if you have one. And then flex through those heels so that your lower body is engaged. And then we'll bring the hands onto the ball and just gently lift up and bring it back down and gently lift up. So I'm going into spinal extension. Now, if I want to start working those extensors a little more, I'm going to just lightly bring the fingers wide. I can have bent elbows here. I can have my arms down by my side. Or a little more challenging, out into that V. And most challenging would be up overhead in an I position. But again, working those low back muscles, and then bring those hands down. Now, all you're going to do, I'm going to roll backwards, but you're going to roll forward if you have the space until your hips are the highest point of your body. So you're an inverted V. So I'm not down on my forearms, nor am I straight armed, I'm kind of halfway. Head hangs, legs come up together. So we're working that same area, that same low back area. But this time, we're doing a reverse hyperextension. Last time, only bring those legs into parallel and straighten those arms. So now you should be in a position where the ball is underneath your belly. Your legs are straight, they're not drooping, they're not sagging, you're supporting yourself. And I want you to walk your left hand forward and lift your right leg. And then see if you can lift your left hand for a second and then bring it down. And then walk your right hand forward, lift your left leg. And then option to try lifting your right hand. Every time, bring your hands back. Try not to walk forward, right? We're just extending opposite arm and opposite leg, bird dog. If that's not working for you, just leave that hand there and do one leg. Leave your legs there and try just your hands. And then pause. And you bring those feet down for a second. I want you to look down and make sure your hands are straight underneath you, not out here in a wide push-up position. So right underneath your shoulders. And that you have at least 8 or 10 inches between your arm and the ball. And then lift up. And then we're going to bend the elbows backwards and lower the upper body as the lower body comes up. So it's a seesaw. And the reason it's a seesaw is because your elbows are bending backwards in a tricep push-up. So make equal, try not to keep your hips piped, right? Because then a little baby push-up. Find that. And if that feels a little bit too easy for you, then you're going to walk your hands a little farther forward so more of your upper body is going down so that you are working harder, of course. Remember, elbows backwards, we're doing tricep, not just pure push-up. All right, and then straight. So you're in a plank, but by this time that ball might be underneath your hips. So as we do this plank, anytime you need to come out of it, that's fine. I'm going to run out of the camera, I'm not sure which. But if you want to make it more challenging, walk your hands forward and drag that ball so it's underneath your thighs. And then check points. Did your belly sag? Lift it up. Did your knees bend a little? Straighten them out. So lift through the quads, flex through the heels, back of the neck is long. If you want a little more challenge, walk your hands forward, drag that ball underneath your shins. And you really have to press that floor away. You're not really pulling the hips, but you're trying to be nice and flat as possible. And then finally, if you don't shear in the way, walk your hands even farther forward and drag that ball. So maybe it's underneath your ankles or your feet. I'm just going to kind of reformat here. Now, we're going to stay here for a second. If you wanted to add a little change, I just want you to look down. So let your head dangle, pull your button in, lift it up, and then plank. Lift it up, and then plank. And then if you make it a little bigger movement, button in, lower your hips as if you're going to pike it, and then slide it back out into a plank. And slide it back out. And pike it up. And slide it back out. 2 more if you want. And then we're going to take a little break. We're going to roll into that flop again. I don't know, did I go off camera sort of? So ball is underneath the belly button and you just draped over it. While you're doing that, I'm just going to where we're headed next. A few minutes ago, we did bird dog, 1 arm, 1 leg. And we're going to try super, which means both arms, both legs. Play with it. Find that perfect balance. And with playtime, finish out with a flop. And then we're going to come up. And I'm going to unroll my mat. Sorry, off screen. I'm going to unroll my mat a little bit, but I'm going to leave a space for where my ball can be, so that I'm going to have some space. But then I'm going to sit at the front of the mat. So I actually folded my mat, and then I'm going to roll down so that my hips are on the mat. They're even in a little bit of a pelvic tilt, and the ball is off the mat on a, I was going to say a clean floor, theoretically clean floor. Legs are straight. This feels nice, doesn't it? Shoulders back and down. I'm going to even press the palms into the ground to press and then roll them open. Ribs come down. Press your heels into the ball and exhale, lift your hips in your first bridge. Back of the neck stays nice and long. Exhale, bend your knees, drag it in, hamstring, and extend. Drag in and extend. Now, it would be more challenging if you bent your elbows, or even if you brought your arms up in the air, then you're going to be rolling that ball in and out on an angle. If you have some hip or knee issues, maybe stay grounded, because you do want to stay symmetrical here. Hips down, take a quick break. Just a bit farther away. We're going to do another round of hamstrings, but we're going to go to single leg. If that doesn't work for you, then come back to double leg. Right straight up in the air. Exhale, lift up into your bridge. Feel that left glute engage, and then curl in and extend. Keep going. Woo, bring that down. Ow. Oh, we'll stretch those in a minute. All right, same thing. That ball's a little closer. Left knee comes in. If you're doing double leg, you have another set of double leg. Woo, press into that right heel, lift up, pull it in, and press it out. Bring that down. Woo, okay. Walk that ball in so your knees are bent pretty close to you. Flex through your heels and then lift up into a really close bridge. So now again, hamstrings are very much engaged, so are glutes. And we'll make this about the glutes. We're going to lift and lower, up and down. Press into the ball with your heels. Good, stretch the legs out, same thing, lift and lower. Walk it as far away as possible, keep the heel pressing down, legs are straight now, still working. Good, and now lift the right foot up and go up and down with the left. Legs are straight. Left side is lifting and lowering, so it's in the left glute, and then right foot presses into the ball, left leg just hangs out in the space. Lift with that left leg, it's the right, and relax. Roll that ball under your, no, we're not gonna stretch yet. That would just be cruel because we've got more. Okay. Legs out to that first position. As a matter of fact, bring your arms over your head, let yourself relax for a second. And then down by your sides, open, shoulders open. All right. Press into the ball again and with those hips. And then walk. And that should make it more challenging. And if you want one more level of challenge, lift your right leg up in the air. And once we're going to tap and lift 3 times with that left leg. And then we're going to lift and lower the right leg. So see how different things? And then the right foot goes on the ball, left leg up in the air. We lift and lower with the right glute 3 times. And then we lift and lower that left leg 3 times. And then feet come down. So that's position 1. If you want position 2, roll the ball a little closer so that you can put your feet on the ball. So kind of want to press up. More challenging would be no hands, mom, right? Or feet and knees together, no hands. Or if you want single leg, you might want to put your hands back down. And then you're going to go right leg up in the air, left glute, lift and lower 3 times. And then right leg, lift and lower 3 times. Ow. And then right foot on the ball, left leg extends, lift and lower those hips. And then left leg, lift and lower. And down. Woo. One more option. Roll the ball in. So it's almost touching your hamstrings and your heels are on top of that ball. So now when you lift up, you're going to be really high up in the air. And again, option, woo-hoo-hoo, that's a lot to bring your hands up. Or ankles and knees together. And then no arms, no hands. Or hands down, legs up, left leg up. Lift and lower 3 times using the right side, and then left leg lift and lower. Woo! And then right leg up in the air, lift lower 3 times. And then lift lower, right leg, keep the booty up, lunge, dragon, and come down. Oh my goodness, we get to stretch those hamstrings for a second. So bring the ball underneath your left leg and roll it over to the left. Let it just be over there, hanging out. Bring that right knee over towards your right shoulder. And then bring it to center, move it away from you, and then back over to the right and up through center and down. And then just reverse that little circle and eventually lead it towards your right shoulder. Reach down with your fingers, your right hand, grab your right big toe. And then flex through that heel. So knee might be on the outside of your arm, or for more flexible, or if you're more flexible, your arm is outside. And then straighten that leg. If you can hold on to the toe, just point and flex. If you can't hold the toe, come down to your ankle, point flex, or circle, and then hug that knee in again. Roll the left leg back through center. Cross the right ankle over the left thigh. And we've got to easy thread the needle here. So use that right hand and then pull it across and then press it away. And then pull it across and you're going to let everything drop to the left. And then come back up. Woo. Both legs out on the ball. Notice that the right side might feel a little better. Roll the ball to the right and left knee comes into the left. And we'll make big, slow circles in direction with that left knee. and then reverse. Good, and then left knee in, grab that left big toe with your left hand, heel to the sky, and eventually straighten again, arm on the outside or the inside, point and flex if you can. If you need to go lower, that's fine. Good, and then roll that ball back through center, cross ankle over the right thigh, then the knee, and press with the left hand to press the leg open. And then cross the knee all the way and then come on up, and you're gonna roll your mat back out probably. All right, so we're gonna try a little bit different today. Bring that ball to your right hip, and come on up, and bring that right hand underneath you. And then just lift that top leg. Let's bring that left hand down for safety now. And just give yourself a little try of bringing those legs up, just for a second. But make sure you feel safe doing this. Okay, then roll it out. Put that right hand on the ball. Come up, and you're side planking here. Okay. Third option. Probably know this is coming. This is a little, could be scary. So, put that bottom leg on the ball first and bring your top hand on the floor. And then bring yourself up. Oh! And then just see how that feels to you. Feels quite scary to me today. Go back to the first option. Move the ball to your left side. All right, so you know what's coming. You have those three options. First option, we roll up and over, is down. Top leg. Bottom hand can come down for some extra support. And then see, you can lift that bottom leg, maybe just for a second. Just play with it. And then when you're ready, come back. Hand is on the ball. And then that's a regular side plank. You know, a more challenging option, of course, would be to lift that top. And then final option is to bring that ball down. I'm going to try to do it this time. This is scary. All right, I'm going to try the top leg on first. All right. So any of these versions, in yourself are fun. And then we're going to come back over on right hip up against the ball. Right? This will be more pleasant, sort of. Come on over, but your hand does not go down on the floor. Straighten out both legs, and then bring your top leg way in front and your bottom leg behind. So you've got scissors action here for more stability. Make sure though it's the top leg in front so your hips are a little more square. Top hand is just going to reach down your leg, right? Or extend it, and that bottom arm is helping me, but if I don't need that help, it comes to the shoulder. And if I want more challenge, arms are in a T. More challenge, you know, is a V. More challenge is arms together or close together in an I. You could go here, so long as you're not jerking that head forward, and then relax. Bottom hand down, top arm comes up and over, and that should give you a nice stretch in that left side of the low back. You could even walk that hand a little behind you, and then come down, and we're rolling over to the other side again. So we lean up against it with our left hip. Then our left leg comes quite a bit in front, right leg quite. And then, sorry, that hand is on the ball, hand on the ball. I'm here. Hey, out of screen. Hey, in screen. When you're ready, lift that bottom hand off ball. Maybe you go into a T or a V or an I or hands together or just a few inches. And then bottom hand on the ball, top hand up and over, rotate, so you're stretching your low back. And back up. And we're going over to that right side again. This time, when you lean into it with your right hip, your right hand does get to go down. And you're going to stack your hips. And you're really going to do your best to stack them and not be rotated open or closed. Top hand, if you need it, can be on the ball. It could be on the ground, but I prefer ball or eventually on your hip. Top leg, lift and lower. Just point and flex. And you should feel some outer hip action here. If you want a little more, turn that toe down and really flex through that heel and start to feel a little more in your glutes, your outer hip action. And come down. And let's roll over, other side. I'll be closer this time. So hand down, left hand down, you're on the ball and your hips are stacked. Notice if they're rotating one way or the other, and then lift that top leg. And again, you're just gonna lift lower. For a little more, turn the toes down so you get in that outer hip. And then notice if you're squished into the ball. Can you engage those lower obliques and those lats? And relax. All right, we're gonna start stretching it out a little bit. And the first stretch, you're just gonna lean against your wall, but come into a little kind of crunchy position here, right? So my knees are pretty close together. And step one is just let your head rest on the ball, arms out into a T. A little more, actually a little more supported, is to roll that ball underneath your shoulder blades and open that chest and feel that expansion across your chest. This is so good for pretty much all of us since we tend to be rounded forward. Now, if you don't get vertigo and you want to go up and over, you just keep rolling backwards, let your head drop over the ball and hang out with your hands overhead. I'm going to just stay here. And then as you're ready, tuck your chin to your chest and start rolling, rolling, rolling up so you end up sitting on top of that ball. And then we're going to go really wide stance. We're going to hinge the body forward. We're going to bring the hands down, wherever they land is fine. And then we're going to drop the head and round the spine and roll backwards. And then roll forward, put your elbows on your thighs, and extend the spine and open the chest and sit up. Exhale, hinge, and start to round and tuck and roll the ball back. And then roll forward, hands on your thighs, and extend and sit tall. So sort of. All right, we're going to walk the feet parallel, just like we started in class, with knees in front of you. And always remember, it's hip bones, it's not hips, whatever. All right, and then if you like as if you need better balance, then press your hands into that ball. Bring your right leg across your left thigh and lift up off that post. So my glutes aren't really pressing into it. And then pull the ball back and hinge if you want to deep. The right knee didn't come up towards your chest, it's still open. And then if you're okay with it, cross that knee over. Crisscross. And then that left hand is coming across, or twisting to the right. And then come back to keep your legs how they are and twist the other way. And then come back through center and ground yourself for a moment. And then left ankle over right thigh. Press it open, lift your hips back if you need to. You may not even have to. And then cross and twist to the left. Spine is tall, and then twist to the right. And back through center, and again, you're going to ground yourself. Sit tall through that spine. And then we're just going to exhale, tuck, and inhale, extend. Tuck and extend, rounding to that low back, and then start bringing it low back, mid back, upper back, and then extend tailbone, rib cage, shoulder blades, and round and tuck, and extend, and round and extend. 2 more times, tuck and round, and extend, and then feet back just a little bit. You may even get a little stretch in your calf. Bring your hand over to your right, arm up and over. Let your hips move left as you stretch to the right. And back up through center. Left hand is down. Right arm up and over, and let your hips move right. And back down. And then round those hands in front of you. Feel your shoulders round. And then squeeze them back. Imagine you have hold of something, you're rowing, and pull them back and down. And then hands by your side. Spine is tall, abs are in. We're gonna make 4, 3, 2, 1 it. And on 1, we're gonna lift up as gracefully as possible. If you wanna bounce 4, 3, 2, and 1. Big ball day. Thank you guys very much. All right. And as promised, more trivia and